Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to HOTFIX. Hello, Mr. Kirioff. You appear to
Hello.
look as if you are on some sort of banned substance. And
Well,
have you been down that
who's to
local
say I'm not?
Subway again? And I don't mean Subway as in the shop which
The
sells.
sandwich shop.
I'm talking about the underpass where questionable people reside. Have you been buying things off there,
There,
Mr. Kirioff?
there is one near my house. I've never gone through it because, well, it looks horrendous.
Does
Like
it
it's just stuffed with needles and homeless people.
does it smell of
So I avoid
of a
it.
certain bodily fluid?
It genuinely does. Yeah, it's quite bad.
Funnily enough, that links into my first piece on HotFix, the Nintendo Creators Program. Boom.
The segue was immense.
All right,
Absolutely amazing.
so we were going to
Oh,
have a
hang on,
guest.
you haven't.
Oh God. Oh
Oh
God.
yeah, I was going to. That's,
Oh
that's
no,
right.
I'll let
As
you
long
do
as
it.
you introduce the guest.
I'll let you do it, sir.
Well, there's been turmoil in the company this week, and I'm afraid Chunks McGee was ousted by a filthy newcomer who is going to preside over today's proceedings from her position of authority in the amazing red and black racing chair, which is of course her own choice. She picked it out. It's not my chair that she nicked. It's actually hers.
I mean, like,
Honest.
even though dogs are colourblind, she can still tell it's red. We don't know how. It's just Lady Bingo. We don't know. But yeah, guys, we were going to have a guest, but there's a lot of things going against me at the moment. So yeah, I am needed elsewhere. Let's say time is of a premium, but it won't be in the future because everything will be fine and dandy. And you should stay tuned to the YouTube channel for an update, which will probably hit tomorrow. So like over the weekend, which will be wonderful. Anyway, Mr. Kirioff, we've got a couple of topics for HotFix today. The first one is obviously this Nintendo Creators Program. Once we've gone into that, we're then going to go into, well, in fact, I'll show you with my fancy monitor full screen. There we go. So first we're going to speak about this Nintendo Creators Program. And this article on The Verge has got a very interesting quote about that, which we'll go into. And then we're going to go into this, which is PewDiePie and a box quote, and then move into old media shutting down, which is pretty interesting. Or like, not old media shutting down, but the way the market is changing and how things are starting to develop. Because I think the future is
Yeah.
very bright for YouTube, like even brighter than I think most people imagine. But anyway, the first thing we are going to go into is the Nintendo Creators Program. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of background on this. So last year, Nintendo said, guys, if you've got a video on your channel with our games in, right? So we're talking Nintendo published games like your Mario games and all of that stuff. You can't monetize that. We take all the money. Thank you. Now, obviously, this is a bit irritating. Okay, there were, I'm going to say, ways around this, but not really. If I uploaded a gameplay clip right now of Mario Kart, yeah, which I did once on the channel. I used it in a special update video for Patreon, I think it was. That video was instantly claimed by Nintendo. Now, bear in mind, we are part of a network, yeah, so we get protection and we can monetize gaming content, but you can't monetize Nintendo content because they basically unmonetize it and monetize it for them, and they take the money. Now, if you've got a channel which is based on Nintendo, which there are a lot of channels out there, and some of them, Kiri, are fucking massive, you know, like millions of subscribers, big Pokemon channels and all this stuff, they had to get a little bit creative to kind of get around this. So they would show little clips of games. They would more of it would be more of like a vlog style format. They're speaking about what's going on and stuff like that. But yeah, everybody was outraged at that. That is such a backward way of thinking. You know, why in an age where every other major publisher is totally fine with YouTube user generated content,
fact,
which is free advertising,
beyond
I'll have you
that,
know.
not just totally fine with it, but actively seek it out. That's the thing that gets me. It's not just that other publishers are going, yeah, okay, you can monetize your content. It's that publishers approach YouTubers and say, hey, do you want to come to this event and play our game? Would you like an incentive to play our game? You know, there's plenty of sponsored content out there. There's plenty of branding deals going around YouTube. Publishers are actively going out and giving stuff away for free and giving money to YouTubers so that YouTubers can advertise their stuff, because they could put an advert on the telly, which is not guaranteed to reach a certain number of people, or they could say to Mr. PewDiePie, oi PewDiePie, here's some money, here's the game, can you do a gameplay clip? Because we know that at least 1.5 million people are going to watch it. And so they do. So, but Nintendo are like,
You have
no.
like
No, we don't allow that.
with like advertising stuff. I mean, if you like use telly as an example, if you're going to go in and spend like $1 million on advertising on TV, No, that's a poor example. I'll use an example I know. Let's say AdWords, okay? So this is the Google advertising platform. If you spend like £1 million, you're probably going to get close to like, I don't know, 80, 90 million impressions. So let's say views on your advert. But you don't actually know where these ads are going. You have some control. You can say, I only want it to appear on gaming websites and stuff like that. But you don't really have like the personal touch thing. Whereas PewDiePie has got a fan base of a certain type of person. If he plays a game and he's like, oh, and he's really enjoying it, his fan base can really relate to that, and it's much more valuable in terms of advertising for what they get instead of like broadcast advertising, which could just, it's just sort of everywhere, like casting a wide net sort of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go back to Nintendo. So Nintendo then said towards the end of last year, don't worry, we know this is a problem, so we're going to come up with a little Nintendo affiliate program through YouTube where you can monetize Nintendo games. So everybody's like, well, okay, let's see what happens. This could be kind of interesting. Well, a couple of days ago, the information on this came out, and I'm going to go to full screen just to show you. Oh dear. So I'm just going to read the first sentence off there. Mr. Kirioff, I believe, as I was told in the little pre-show, well, he wants the next paragraph. So get ready, ladies and gentlemen. This is a Nintendo Creators Program. So about the Nintendo Creators Program. The Nintendo Creators Program is a service through which Nintendo gives you part of the advertising proceeds it receives from YouTube for your Nintendo-related YouTube videos. And then it's got a little picture, and it's like, video creator. Advertising revenue goes to Nintendo. Nintendo gives you a share. Okay, if you will, Mr. Kirioff.
So I'm just going to read the top sentence of this paragraph, the first sentence, and then I just want to talk a little bit about what they've said here. So, in the past, advertising proceeds that could be received for videos that included Nintendo copyrighted content, such as gameplay videos, went to Nintendo according to YouTube rules. Now, that's a fucking lie. Nintendo are liars. They are bullshitting. What they're suggesting there is that it's YouTube's fault that all the money that you make from their game is going to them. That's not YouTube's fault, because if it was YouTube's fault, there would be no gaming channels anywhere on YouTube, because it would be a completely unsustainable way of making any sort of living whatsoever. You would not have Total Biscuit if that was part of YouTube rules. You would not have PewDiePie if that was YouTube rules. Instead, what you would have is nothing. But because Nintendo is so fucking arse backwards, they've decided to make it out as though their refusal to allow people to monetize videos is YouTube's fault. That's how they've phrased that. They haven't said, due to the fact that we want all of the money all of the time, you can't have any money from making videos with our games. What they've said is, because of YouTube's rules, you don't get any money. Isn't that unfair? Luckily, we've come up with a fantastic solution to this problem that doesn't exist. And the solution is that the people who like Nintendo, the fans of Nintendo, buy the fucking game from Nintendo, so they give Nintendo money. Then they sign up for the Nintendo Creators Program. Then they make a video, which is free advertising for Nintendo, because they've bought the game from them. And then, the money they gain from advertising Nintendo's game for free goes to Nintendo, and Nintendo says, thank you for advertising our stuff for free and for buying our products. For your loyalty, we will give you a pittance in return. This is arsehole behaviour, and it's fucking disgusting. And the entire thing is founded on them essentially lying through. It's at the very best you could look at it. It's a lie of omission, because they're pretending that somehow they're not in control of it when actually they are. It's not anything to do with YouTube, because, well, you're watching a fucking gaming channel. And funnily enough, we haven't had to sign up for the EA Creators Program, or the Activision Creators Program, or the Blizzard Creators Program.
So, hang on, that's an interesting point.
And yet our videos are fine.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting point, because a few years ago, there was a lot of discussion as to where YouTube would actually go. Because you could have a situation where everybody is like Nintendo, because the whole reason Nintendo are doing this, and I'll show you this in some of the, on this, I'll switch back to the screen in a second and go into detail on that, as to why this is the case. But Nintendo really want to control what's going on with their franchises, yeah? But it's like archaic, you would do that maybe in the early 2000s, but not now, things have changed. But just going back for a second, there was a time where maybe EA, maybe Activision, maybe Ubisoft would say, no, we want the money because it's our product, and we'll give you a bit back if you were lucky. That it could have easily have gone that way. However, what happened was these companies looked and realized, holy shit, how many views these videos are getting, which, guys, YouTube channels, especially the big ones, even us, right? Even us now, most likely get more views than traditional gaming websites. I'm not saying we get more views than IGN, because we don't, but we must be getting close to a lot of the smaller or medium-sized sites and probably beating them in a lot of cases. And obviously a very strong thing we have that they don't have is we have personality. They don't. They're just a website with any old so-called journalist, which, by the way, you can't be a games journalist. That is ludicrous. If you went up to a fucking war correspondent and said, "Hi, I'm a games journalist," they'd go, "Fuck up," and slap you around your face. Journalists report on the news, don't they? Just saying what the hell you think about games. It's not journalism. You know, it's entertainment. That's what it is. That's what YouTube's so prevalent, because you come to get entertained and also, you know, listen to the opinions of people and God knows what. So yeah, it could have gone bad, but it didn't. Everybody else is totally fine with it. They see the views, the massive advertising, the loads of money that generates. And like Kiri said, they even come in now and say, "We'd like to play our game, have some money, go and play the game." And even that evolved, because when that first started, it was all like, "We want you to say this about the game," or "We want you to do this, we want you to do that," which is obviously bad. Yeah. Now it's not like that. Now it's do whatever you like, but just say it's a sponsored video. So you can see how that's evolved. Anyway, let me just read some shocking stuff off here. So I've scrolled down. I'll just show you where I've scrolled down to. So Kiri obviously read this section off, and then we've got this information about what you need. So you need a Google account, obviously PayPal, which is interesting because there's only PayPal as a payment option. Now what that means is you're going to get PayPal charges all over any money you make, so that would be more money you'd lose. And then it tells you how to get started, which is, you know, whatever. But then we go on to registration rules. This is where it gets interesting. So the first one, it says you can register single videos or entire channels. Okay, this as a point, you read that and you think, well, okay. But then you come down to the next point, and this is what it says. When you register a channel, you will be eligible to receive, maybe I should highlight this, you will be eligible to receive a share of advertising revenue from Nintendo for all videos included in that channel, regardless of their content. If you only want some videos to apply to this program, please register each video individually. Now, what's interesting about this, ladies and gentlemen, is it says that if you register a channel for the Nintendo Creators Program, every video on that channel is subject to their revenue share. Now, let's just talk a bit of business, right? Because if you're sitting there, let's use us as an example, right? Well, no, let's use a standard YouTube channel, let's say, a standard partnership agreement, okay? So you're probably on, like, I don't know, 70-30% split, yeah? So you get 70%, the network you're with, let's say Maker or whatever, they get 30%, okay? Fair enough. YouTube also take 40%, I think it's 40% of everybody's money anyway. That's just like for operating on YouTube. Then you get your network split. Then you get your Nintendo split, which is, what is the split on Nintendo? Is it 60%? 40-60? I think they take 40%, yeah. So they take 40% as well, or whatever. No, hang on. The advertising revenue
70 for channels and 60 for videos.
Yeah, so they take 30% if you register your channel. Okay, on top of what you've already got. Why would we sign up to that?
Also,
why would anyone sign up to that?
Right, I just realised underneath the when you register a channel in red.
Yeah, I was getting to that.
You can only use channels. But then it says, "See here for a list of Nintendo game titles." Now, I just clicked this list. I just scrolled down a bit. There is shit on here from the N64. There is stuff from the Game Boy Advance, the Game Boy, the NES.
It looks like every Nintendo game, yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, but are they really attempting to monetize content from games and consoles that have been out of production for, like, I don't know, what, 20 fucking years or something? What the hell is that? What the fuck is going on?
The big thing from this section here, where it says you will be eligible to receive a share of advertising revenue from Nintendo for all videos included in that channel, regardless of their content. So what they're doing there is they are basically operating as a network on YouTube, on top of the network that you'd already probably be in if you were going to make videos for a living, right? And then on top of this, I mean, what? Why would you do? Why?
You know, that also, why? Given the way they've worded it, the way they've specified it, if we did a vlog, a live action vlog, in in my house, Nintendo would take a cut of that.
Yeah.
What?
Every
What
video.
the hell
Yeah.
is that?
Why would
What?
you agree to that? You see, because oh my god,
Also, I know this is one of my favourite bits from this section.
Oh my god.
This rate may be changed arbitrarily. You could sit there and you could put your video up and get a massive 2% of the revenue share, and they'd just be able to go, well, it did say it would change arbitrarily.
Yeah, so
No one
never agree to that,
any
guys.
sort of never ever. If you come across any contract where it says that the other person can change the terms of how much you're paid whenever they feel like it for no reason whatsoever, what you do is
say no.
you either shred the contract or you shit on it and send it back to them unsigned. Either of those is fine. Don't
That's
ever,
a job for Lady Pig.
ever sign that. Don't ever do that. That is, oh my god.
But
just
guys,
horrendous.
it gets worse. So it says it can regularly take up to 3 business days for your registered content to be reviewed and finalised. Now, let me tell you why this is horrendously bad. Okay, let me tell you why this, ladies and gentlemen, is horrendously fucking dire. If I upload a video now, okay, so yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? No, it was the day before. I uploaded a video about Heroes of Might and Magic HD 3, and it's on about 15,000 views at the moment, right? Now, if it's going to take 3 days, right now, it would still not be finalised, so it would still not be approved for revenue share, even though I've just, accrued 15,000 views, so to speak. So tomorrow, okay, when this video, videos tail off, guys. The day that they go up, they perform better, then they sort of go on a downward slide, unless something major happens, like big news, then it may come back up, right? But in 99% of cases, you're going to get the most views on your video in the first 3 days. So for them to take 3 days for actually classify it as monetization, you may sit there with this video I've got. After 3 days, let's say it's on 20,000 views, and then by the time I get paid by Nintendo, which by the way is 2 months after the date, which is a month more than any other YouTube network, which is retarded.
That's horrendous as well.
I might only get paid for 3,000 views, even though my video's got 23,000 views, because it only managed to get 3,000 views after the 3 days. It's absolutely
worse than that.
It's backwards.
A better example of that would be the H1Z1 video that you did.
Yeah.
Now, within 2 days, that had hit around 65 to 70,000 views, I believe. So if it only gets monetized on the third day...
Come on, son. 65 to 75 views.
Yeah, 65 to 75,000 views.
How dare you?
By the third day, that rate will have dropped off. That's just how it works. So congratulations, you've missed 70,000 views worth revenue, and then you've got to wait 2 months for the pissy amount that they're going to send you to come through anyway. That as well also depends on how much they decide to give you for that video.
Yeah, because we're going to change it.
They could arbitrarily change it to 2%, so you get 2% of the. It's just. It's unbelievable. I cannot fathom, right? Cannot fathom how in this industry, in this age, where other publishers, other console manufacturers, other developers go out and find YouTubers to play their products, how Nintendo can sit there, look at the massive. I mean, you could even just take a single title, for example. Let's look at I don't know, a small indie game that one guy made in his bedroom, and now he's got $2 billion and bought a $70 million house in LA because Minecraft took off massively. Now, it's almost as though when he said, do what you like with Minecraft, monetize it, make videos on it, and people did, and it took off, and it suddenly developed loads of sales, it's almost as though that's a better way of doing it than if he'd have said, don't ever make stuff on my content, don't ever play my game, fuck you, give me all your money. Because I suspect that the game would not have done quite as well if it wasn't for the massive influx of Minecraft videos and channels. Look at the YouTube channels for gaming, and tell me how many of the biggest channels are like Minecraft channels. They are fucking huge, right? They have done amazing things for that game. And Nintendo's solution to that would be, no, you can't make content, and if you do, we want to take a cut of it for all the advertising you've given us. I mean, that's just one example. A single example of that. I don't even understand how fucking backwards and stupid
do you think
the people in charge have to be to think this is a solution to a problem that doesn't even exist in the first place. I mean, what the fuck? It's not even.
Nobody in their industry does it. Nobody does it today. We'll do it.
God damn.
Is this a Japanese thing? I do not understand Japanese culture, right, or any of that stuff. But what I do know about Nintendo is, and this is like
Yeah.
been, this is public knowledge, and a lot of people know this. And I think we've said this on previous hotfixes where we've been a bit bewildered at what the hell Nintendo. I think actually when we did the hotfix on Nintendo stopping you monetizing content on YouTube, I know they've got a lot of money, and I know they could operate at a loss for God knows how many years, and that's fine. Is it just because they are really that old-fashioned? Like, I mean, I go back to my earlier point. A lot of the stuff in this, or the whole point of this creators program, is they want you to make videos that they approve of. Okay, if they after the 3-day period don't approve of it, well then your video's going to get taken down, or something's going to happen to it. That is like
that's something else to note here. With the registration rules, when you look at it, it can regularly take up to 3 business days for your registered content to be reviewed and finalised. Not finalised,
no.
Reviewed and finalised. Does this mean that they are going to be literally sitting there? They're going to have a department going through every video that goes through this program? Because if that's true, that is
it
fucking
won't be many
disgusting,
videos.
Because that's well, no, that's true. But that's literally just censorship in action, isn't it? Because if they don't like your registered content, it's going to be reviewed and it's never going to be finalised because they'll be like, "What the fuck is this?" No.
Why are they attempting to control it though? Look,
what?
If you've made a product, right, and now let's be fair to Nintendo, a lot of the products they do make, they are pretty decent games, and everybody likes them. There's a massive market for it in the world.
They've got a huge fan base. This is the thing. They've got a massive fan base.
I mean, fuck me. EA, when they launched Battlefield 4 in the right state, they knew it was bad. They launched it. It got slammed, but they didn't go around taking videos down because they knew that would be even worse. That you can't. You have to have.
You know what? Opposite to that,
they
actually started promoting glitch videos for Battlefield 4.
The
Battlefield Facebook page.
I remember that,
if someone found a funny glitch and something went wrong, they would promote the fucking video. That was actively showing the game broken, and they were like, "Well, that's pretty funny,
wasn't it?" And didn't Activision say
COD
you couldn't
though?
Way. Yeah, they said don't show the broken game, which is slightly dodgy as well. But yeah, you're totally right in what you're saying. It is just such a dumb backwards thing. This is. I mean, if we just go back to the thing as well, and I'll scroll down to this. So this is the advertising revenue payment. So this is how they're going to pay you. So obviously revenue shares will be calculated from the point that registration is complete. Okay. So I guessing that's when they approve your channel or your video. Right. Never, do not approve channels, guys. Don't even use this. Just they're fucking idiots. Just don't make videos on Nintendo games unless you're a Nintendo channel, in which case you need to diversify. I'm sorry. Anyway, revenue shares are calculated at the end of each month and will take up to 2 months, so we said this, for payments to be sent to your PayPal account. Now notice PayPal's the only option, and like I said, that's additional fees. So if you want to look at the fees you've got you split with YouTube, you split with the network you're in, because most people will be in a network, you split with fucking Nintendo, you split with PayPal. So on a normal video, let's say if you were getting 70% of the network split, now that split is fucking obliterated into God knows where, and you're probably earning somewhere like 20% of what you would have been earning. It's just terrible. Anyway, you can check the payment results on screen just after you log in. So they must have like they must have a YouTube MCN, their own.
They'll have their own back end for it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a multi-channel network on YouTube, kind of like what Maker's got, I guess. Payments are all made in US dollars, which is pretty standard for YouTube. Payments may not be completed if your PayPal account is not verified, your account has been deleted, or any other problems occur with PayPal. Now, PayPal isn't a foolproof system. It can go tits up quite a lot. And apart from that, there's apparently system requirements for using their website. And then there's a load of frequently asked questions, which I haven't even looked at. So I'm just going to pick some of these out and see what they say. So, what is PayPal?
Seem to be
garbage.
Standard. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, what they've done is they've started out by misrepresenting why they're doing it, by making it out to be YouTube rules that stop you from making money from their videos. It's not YouTube, it's them. That's all there is to it. It's nothing to do with YouTube.
They've put their videos in the content ID system. That's what they've done.
Yeah, that's what they've done. It's nothing to do with YouTube, and so the fact that they're making it out to be some sort of problem with YouTube rules is complete bullshit. So that's a bad start.
I'll show you the back end of the YouTube channel while you're ranting, Mr. Kirioff, and I'll show you the copyright claims section.
Yeah,
if I can.
And
carry on.
At the end of the day, it's what they've done is they've come up with an incredibly biased, unfair system which allows for censorship and punishment of videos that they don't like. as a solution to a problem that didn't exist in the first place. That's what they've done. There is no issue with monetizing gameplay videos if you're in a network or if you've gained written permission. So the fact that they created this says nothing about the state of YouTube or the state of people attempting to make Let's Play videos or reviews or anything like that. All it says is that Nintendo refused to allow people to do free advertising for them and want a cut of everything you do if it's anything to do with Nintendo, which is a shitty, horrendous attitude.
So this is what you'll see, ladies and gentlemen, right? If you dare to put a Nintendo video on YouTube, right? So if I go to my full screen right about now, you will see this, right? Now, this is one of the videos that Nintendo claimed on the channel. It's a really old hotfix, something fake gamers hotfix, whatever the hell we were talking about back in the early years. But if you look at this, it's been claimed 3 times, 3 different points by Nintendo. Now, you can see that that point there is clearly a... I've used the trailer, so that's why they've claimed it, okay? But it's not like I've just re-uploaded the trailer from the start of the video. Although, no, there is quite a bit of gameplay footage that I seem to have used, so you could argue, okay, they've claimed the trailer. But even that is kind of a bit backwards. Why would you claim that, right? But, you know, the topic of this video isn't what I was showing off here. What I just wanted to show you is this. Though you'll be seeing a lot of this Nintendo claim bollocks going into the future. Well, I mean, unless you sign it to their system. And how could they even fix this, Mr. Kirif? The only way they could fix this would be if they got rid of it. And then Nintendo. So they won't because they're fucking idiots, apparently. And I'm sick to death of just saying Nintendo is shit.
You know what I just realised? Sega did something very similar.
Yeah.
Didn't they? Shining Force, wasn't it?
You know why they did that?
Is it just...
No, they did it.
Because they were doing... There's a new Shining Force game coming out, and they wanted to essentially clear the search rankings for it.
Yeah.
Which, again, that's insanely backwards, right? If you search for Call of Duty on YouTube, you don't get videos for Call of Duty fucking Black Ops anymore, do you? You get it for Ghosts, because it's new, and that's how fucking searches work. I mean, do they just... Honestly, is it a cultural thing, or is it just that the people in charge of this side of things for these companies are just idiots? I mean, I don't understand how you can get a position where you can make decisions like this and know so little about advertising, about the power of YouTube, about the power of, just all of this. I don't understand how you can get to that position.
I was about to lay into maybe it is a Japanese problem, but I'm pretty sure Namco Bandai or Bandai Namco, whatever they're called, Dark Souls, they're pretty fine with, and I'm sure they're Japanese. I don't really have any examples off the top of my head because I'm not a massive Japanese game player. That makes no sense. But it is so backwards. It's so utterly. I just don't even. Nintendo are terrible guys, and actually, here's the other thing I wanted to show, which was so this is on The Verge. So as you can see, their title is Nintendo is finally sharing ad revenue with YouTube users, but only if you're registered. Terrible. But this section, which I just want to read off here, which is, in fact, I'll read a bit of this section off because it's pretty interesting. So. They say this is a strong departure for Nintendo, which in 2013 controversially claimed all ad revenue on YouTube videos that featured copyright images and footage from its games. It was a move that angered multiple YouTube gaming personalities. Until their claims are straightened out, I won't be playing their games, Zach Scott, whose YouTube channel boasts more than 1.3 million subscribers, wrote at the time. In the past, advertising proceeds that could be received for videos that included Nintendo copyrighted content, such as gameplay videos, went to Nintendo. According to YouTube rules, the company says, now, through this service, Nintendo will send you a share of the advertising proceeds for any YouTube video or channel containing Nintendo copyrighted content that you register. So again, that's got that bullshit fucking lie in it about it's.
I mean, the way they're peddling that, do they actually believe it? Have they just forgot to ask? Have they not got like a telephone number for someone at YouTube to go, can we just clarify how this content ID thing works? Because, I mean, it feels like that you're saying we have to claim their videos so that the person can then go, no. That's not how it works. What the fuck are you talking about?
You know how backwards Nintendo are? Okay. Nintendo, they used to have a fairly good PR agency, right? They sacked them. They fired the shit out of the PR agency because they had poor results, which is... I think no fault of that PR agency because it was the fact the Wii U was terrible at the time and had no games. Okay, obviously it's got some decent games that have come out now. No, it was retarded.
No one knew it was
stupid, right? Anyway, the current company they've got are a good company. Don't get me wrong, but they are forced by Nintendo to do the most ridiculous things ever. I've spoke to multiple people, much bigger YouTube channels than me, who deal with this company, and they're all saying the same things to me. Like, they actively ask for feedback. So Bayonetta 2, okay, Super Smash Brothers. They sent me Bayonetta 2. They sent me it a week before launch. That's great. I can play the game, make review content. That's fine. But they want the game back. So first of all, I thought this is kind of strange. They also made me sign an agreement to which I would completely agree to all of their terms. I wouldn't break NDAs and things like that. Now, I wouldn't break NDAs anyway. You know, who would do that? It's just stupid, because you could get your videos pulled down off YouTube then. You know, any publisher could easily do that. They made me sign this massive convoluted contract. It was like 20 odd pages. It was stupid. I signed it anyway because after going through it a few times, I realised it was just saying you can only make videos. Well, just don't break NDAs basically, which is fine. So I made a video of Bayonetta 2. Impressed with the game. The game goes back. Next game I get is Super Smash Brothers. Right. Again. Oh, and I also got a Pikachu amiibo. They sent this to me, and I got emailed within 2 days telling me, we need this back, so as soon as you've made the content, could you please dispatch the game back to us? And I'm thinking, okay, this is a bit weird. They want they want the game back, right? Now, in terms of the value of this game to them, it's jack shit, because they make millions of these things, right? Same for the amiibo, right? So for them to take it back off me, now just think who I am, what I would do with it, right? I enjoyed Smash Brothers, yeah? Right? I would have made more fucking videos on Smash Brothers. I would have streamed it, right? Would have done all manner of things. Hell, maybe I might have even collaborated with other channels, yeah? But no, because I don't have the fucking game no more, because they took it back off me, right? It's weird. It's like no other publisher does this. They know if I give a fucking an outfit with like nearly 50,000 subscribers a fucking game for free, which doesn't cost us shit, and they're going to make videos on it, it's win-win. We win because we get advertisement if our game's good. If our game's shit, then that's our own fault. Then, you know, we're going to get told, they're going to say our game's shit. I mean, actually, Ubisoft, right? You know, we might bash and rag on Ubisoft, but they understand YouTube, yeah? And they still, like, we've ragged on them.
Yeah.
They gave me Heroes, the HD remake, right? A couple of days before it came out to allow me to make a video on it. I was honest. I made the video, and I'm like, look, this isn't worth buying. Go and buy it, the GOG version. But of course, they still get money for the GOG version because they own the goddamn rights. So it's not a total loss to them. But I'm advising people not to buy that version of the game, yeah? So even though it wasn't that good, they still kind of got a bit of a win out of it, and they got thousands of views, which they wouldn't have been able to get for that kind of price anywhere else. You see what I'm saying? Nintendo don't understand this, so they're like, we want the game. I couldn't believe it, Mr. Kiro. Yeah, even I've got to the point now where I'm just like, fuck Nintendo, right? This was before Christmas. I'm like, I can't be bothered dealing with them again because they're not sending me anything of worth, to be honest. You know, why would I care, right? They're not making my job easier, which in turn makes their job easier. And now this, I mean, this is just like the nail in the coffin.
That was the thing where, when I said before, you know, that they are just destroying their fans because their fans are going out and buying the games. The reason I specifically said, and I did this deliberately, I specifically said buying the games, is because Nintendo will not give them the games. Okay? That's why I said buy. Now, when I did videos on
hang on, we're not
Dead Rising.
Let me just clear that up a minute, because we'll get people in the comments going, yeah, you made it about getting free games. It's not about getting free games. We could go out and buy all the games if we wanted to. It's not about that.
Yeah, it's not about that. It's essentially about the power of advertising when combined with the fact that you can give someone a game, you can give someone a 30, 40, 45 quid game, and they will give you thousands of views, which would only otherwise be achieved by spending a lot more than that on advertising. That's what it's about. It's nothing to do with, oh, I want free games. That's not the point.
No.
The point is that by giving YouTubers the game for free, allowing them to keep the game, they make content. They make more content. You know, they will do reviews, they'll do Let's Plays, they'll collaborate with other people, meaning that your video gets seen by more and more people than it would otherwise. By demanding that the game is sent back a matter of days after you fucking received it, it means you're liable to get 1 or 2 videos and then nothing else ever again.
Because frankly, it's insulting. You know,
how do you expect people to do that?
Because you know what they say, I have to pay for the postage. So
yeah, that's
because they were like, okay, you know, they said we need the games back. I'm like, that's fine. Pay for it. They're like, no, you'll need to pay for that. In the contract, it does say if you don't send the stuff back, they will fine you. And there's a ludicrous fine for breaking NDAs of like 50,000 euros or something. I was like, what? You know, it's stupid. It's backwards. It's stupid.
Yeah.
And
It's
if they don't change,
just ridiculous.
I mean, but the thing is, like I said, the PR company that they do deal with, I've said to them before, this is ridiculous. This needs to be changed, and they agree basically. But you know, they've got to do what Nintendo tell them to do, and Nintendo are run by seemingly bloody idiotic people in Japan who have no idea about how the world actually functions outside of their own little crazy ecosystem. Crazy. I mean, they must sell most of their games abroad. They have to. I know the Americans go crazy for Nintendo games. The kids go crazy for them over here as well. And, you know, Christ alive.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like it's not about getting free games, and it's not about, you know, trying to do things so that you somehow end up with an advantage over everyone else. All it is down to being clever with your marketing, clever with how you how you operate, and they're not being clever. They're being fucking dumb, because you could send a channel a game and say, keep that, make all the content you like, safe in the knowledge that your investment of 40 quid for the game, which is nothing compared to how much the game will sell. If you send someone, in fact, let's break it down really easily. If they'd sent Bayonetta or Smash Brothers, and they'd said keep it, then makes 2 or 3 videos. Of every video, 2 people buy the game. Now that's an incredibly small number of people to buy the game, but that would still be, they've spent 40 quid and they have gained, say in total the videos get 10 sales, which is obviously a very low margin, but it's just to make it easy.
Yeah,
they've spent 40 quid and they've earned 10 times that back. I mean, that's literally all it boils down to. All it boils down to.
How many sales? This is an amazing link as well. How many sales do you think we've produced for like naval action? Probably quite a lot.
Yeah,
and what's going on there? We just, you know, we've been given the game, and we were playing the game, you know, and we enjoy the game, and it's fine. You know, it's not underhand, not in my mind. If you just get given a game, it's not you're being paid to do it. It's like, here's the game, check it out. And that's, you know, you guys know that's how we are. If I get given something, I'm like, I just look at it like, if it's shit, I'm going to tell you it's shit. I'm not going to go, oh, this is great.
Admittedly, that's part of the risk. Like, that is part of the risk when it comes to giving games to YouTube channels. But
yeah,
sometimes the risk is part of advertising anyway. You're gonna
if the product is solid,
risk losing money if the product doesn't work to begin with. So,
if you
in the case of naval action, it is literally a case of, we were sent the game. We were like, hey, this looks interesting. We were sent the game. We really enjoyed the game, so we're making videos on the game, and that's all it is. That's all it has to be, and that's all Nintendo need to do. But for some reason, they can't handle the idea of someone making money off their game without them getting a share of it. Ignoring the fact that they get a share anyway, because by people playing the fucking game, they're advertising it for them, so they make sales. It's fucking easy. It's not difficult. I don't have a degree in marketing or business or fucking economics, and I can still tell you that by giving someone the fucking game and letting them make content on it, you will make money back. And I know that simply because that's what's happened with me. I've seen games on channels, and I've thought, oh, that's pretty good, and I've gone out and fucking bought them. All that is personal experience. How do they not know this?
It happens with every major publisher. Every major publisher does it as well. You know, it's like, you know, make content. They know the power of YouTube. It's such a
Jesus.
I cannot for the life of me understand the way that company operates. I just can't. It is literally the laughing stock of everything. You know, it's just ridiculous. Yeah. But let's use this as another link into the next topic, which is kind of about old media and old ways and how this is changing. So Nintendo are obviously very old in the way they operate. But if we go to this, okay, so this is Crave Online. They're lucky. They're getting advertisement because they were the first ones to come up in the YouTube search. So we've got a massive dying light picture, and it says, good night, good luck, which must be their catchphrase. I love this game. It's so awesome. PewDiePie, right? Now, this type of thing you see quite often on movie posters. You see it on games, yeah? But it's usually IGN or GameSpot or somebody like that, right? Older written word websites, or maybe even Rock Paper Shotgun or something like that. I mean, hell, if you look at Steam, you will see prominent YouTubers will be quoted in Steam description pages now. That's been going on for a while, you know, like a quote off Total Biscuit or somebody like that. You know, that's quite, I think in fact we're actually on one, I think. But you know, there's stuff like that. Now, what's interesting about this, because I kind of want to go and have a look at this in some detail, but PewDiePie, if you remember, and I think this article, yeah, so this article actually shows this. So PewDiePie, the VGX Awards, which has, thank God, been canned forever, in 2013, he was paid to play this game, right? So he's been paid for this, right? So for him to then appear on here, it is total paid for advertising. But
Yeah.
is this really out of the ordinary when you think of the type of things which have gone on in the past, if you kind of extend it beyond gaming? So if you do look at movies and stuff, or even if you go even further and you go and you look at David Beckham endorsing some sort of Japanese whiskey that he doesn't like, but he's sitting there going, oh, this is great, wow. He's been paid to do that because he's David Beckham, and they want his face associated with their product, and that is all, in my mind,
every
this is.
footballer uses fucking Gillette Mac 3s or whatever it is.
Yeah, and Head and
It's
Shoulders
just...
and all that crap.
Yeah.
So the question is, Mr. Kirillov, is this really a problem when we see this? Because it is like PewDiePie is no longer just a YouTuber. He is a celebrity, and this is a celebrity endorsement of a game which he's been paid to do. How is that any different than anybody else doing it? You could say in the example of IGN and GameSpot that maybe they haven't been paid for it, but maybe they have, to use a little quote from their thing. You know, their article or their review on the game in the advertising of the game. Because it's an age-old joke, isn't it? IGN, 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, and all that shit on every game. It's like, what?
Yeah. But that's, I mean, the thing is, there's kind of two ways to approach it and two ways to think about it. The first one is that from a strictly marketing, money-making point of view, you would absolutely want PewDiePie on the cover of your game. Because he's got, well, just look at the fucking size of him. He's massive. He's the biggest gaming channel out there by a vast margin. He is light years ahead of anybody else in terms of viewership, in terms of subscribers, and in terms of celebrity pulling power. And so, if you want to sell your game to a certain demographic, he is the person that you want on the box. You don't want like Billy Bob Joe from, I don't know, Joystick or something, who has been reviewing games for the past 10 years. Because, frankly...
Hang on, Kiz. That's interesting. Because who... Is it random intern number 52 has made the quote for IGN? You don't know. That, again, goes back to the whole thing of it being a personal thing. Same with celebrity endorsements. You know who Brad Pitt is. You know the type of films he's been in. So if you see something advertised by Brad Pitt, like a watch or whatever, you might think, oh, yeah, I like that, because you make the connection in your head. That's all this is. You don't get that with IGN. You don't get that with GameSpot, because it's like, who the fuck are these people? Like, you wouldn't just have, like... it's like the company name is no longer good enough. And things are changing rapidly, and it is definitely becoming like.
And it's not even so much of an evolution. It's a shifting of the target market, is what it is. The markets are the people who read websites or watch reviews. The market for, say, the people who watch WTF is from Total Biscuit is not the market that watches PewDiePie play games.
No.
They are two different markets. They are two different groups of people. If you want to appeal to the people who watch WTF is, you go for the people who do reviews.
Screw
of
that
games,
as an example. Think of us, because I've got the stats. Like, screw that example. But our main demographic is it's sort of 20 to 35. That's our main demographic. Yeah. So you would not advertise a kid's game, and you can tell. Like, I know, I have a feel for our fan base. I know that you guys are not like. You don't want Minecraft, you don't want shit like that. But PewDiePie's fans do, So, and there's millions of them. So if you were going to come and spend advertising money, you would give it to him to advertise.
You would spend it on him, and you would use his name and his quote, because for that target market, there is no bigger name. There isn't. The people who watch PewDiePie are not going to know who the chief editor of IGN is, and they're not going to care if the chief editor of IGN likes the game. They're just not. They are going to care if PewDiePie likes it, because they like the stuff that PewDiePie likes. It literally boils down to that. The problem comes with those people who aren't that target market, who want that discernment between what's been paid for, what's an honest opinion. Like, for instance, you lot watching this, I somehow doubt you looked at the poster for Dying Light, saw it's so awesome, PewDiePie, and thought, that's an opinion I can get behind. You probably thought, and how much is he paying for that?
Yeah,
That's probably what you first thought. And that's where I think that's where the problem lies, because he was paid to play the game. So in a way, him then saying that the game is awesome is kind of disingenuous. But it's only disingenuous to the people who are trying to discern whether it's a good game or not.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I said this over Twitter, and a couple of people disagree with me, but I think they kind of missed what I was saying. I said the people who look at what PewDiePie says about a game and then goes and buys a game, they don't care that he's not a reviewer. They're not out to get the best quality product. They're not out to weigh it up against the competition, to look at the pros and cons. They're out to play a fun game that a guy they like plays. That's their entire motivation behind buying. Yeah, that's all it is. It's not, oh well, I've heard that actually this other game has similar mechanics, but does it better? They don't care about that. People like us, we care about that, but they don't. They're a different target. They're a different market, and in a way, it only kind of affects the people who want to get the best out of the game that they're getting. Like, the people who just buy it because PewDiePie buys it are the same people who will buy a perfume because Victoria Beckham made it. Yeah. They don't care about the smell. They care about the name attached to it. So for those people, there's no better person to get a quote from. For people like us who actually want to know what we're getting before we get it, who want the in-depth, the how good is the game, how well does it last, what are the textures like, what's the performance like, all that kind of thing. In a way, the marketing that is being done by PewDiePie or done by the Dying Light guys by using PewDiePie is actually utterly irrelevant, because it's not going to affect us. We are not going to pick up a game because PewDiePie says it's good. We are not that market. We are not the people who don't care whether the game is good or not. They just want to play it because he plays it. We're the people who want to actually experience something and, really get into it. So, I don't know. It's kind of, in a way, you can kind of write it off like that. Admittedly, I'm not entirely comfortable with someone who's being paid, then, having their quotes used as an endorsement for the game. But at the same time, it's been happening in the real world, so to speak, like on television and in magazines.
It's the norm, yeah.
It's the norm. If anything, it's all it does is it's showing that the power of YouTube has increased to the point where it is now worth putting some guy. It's worth putting PewDiePie, not even the guy's real name, PewDiePie on a box to sell the game. That's all it really says to me. It's not. It's just that now this industry, what we are doing, has caught up with essentially the mainstream world of advertising.
And you know what the thing is? You know what's happened? The YouTube industry, the Twitch. I mean, Twitch and YouTube are definitely the future for. I'm just going to straight out call it gaming entertainment content, because I don't think it's journalistic, and I don't care what anybody says. None of it's journalistic. You can't fucking report on games. You can give your opinion on games and stuff, but you're not actually, whatever. But like, it is the main advantage it's got is all of the figures are public. If you're streaming on Twitch, you can see how many people watch the stream. If you've made a video on YouTube, you can see. You can go to Unit Lost and you can see that we've got nearly 13 million views across our videos. We're not hiding it. It's just there publicly. Where are the viewing figures for a lot of these standard websites? Where's IGN's viewing figures? Some of them, I think, do have viewing figure things because they're publicly traded companies and stuff. But, it's the thing with television. Like, I always like to compare Unit Lost to these, like, small free view channels like Pick TV in the UK. I bet we get, we're getting close to like 30,000 views a day. They can't be doing that. You know what I mean? It's like they can't. We've got to be getting close to that, And the difference with us and the difference with YouTube is it's often for a very, hell, you see this in my hand here, right? This is a goddamn 40K model, right? I watch loads of 40K battle reports on YouTube. I cannot get that on TV. It's highly specialised entertainment. So if one of those channels is like, oh, by the way, guys, I've been paid to advertise this battle mat, which I think actually that Striking Scorpion guy, which is probably the best channel for it, he's like, by the way, check this out, I've been given from whatever mat. You look at it, you're like, holy shit, that looks like a good product. That has worked because now Kiri has fucking bought one. Well, he's gonna. That was my phone. I apologise. So
it's ordered. It's actually on its way this week.
That is an example of targeted advertising, which works well. And this PewDiePie example, in my eyes, it's no different, really. But obviously, what sense? I mean, the article on this fucking website, it's like, gamers up in arms after PewDiePie quote appears on Dying Light posters. I mean, I don't know. I think that's probably just clickbaity, but I don't know why. Like, who would be up in arms about it? Oh, where's my IGN quote? Oh, it's PewDiePie. Oh, he's an idiot. In fact, before you jump in, Kiri, the thing I was going to say before we went into that beautiful rant was PewDiePie isn't a reviewer. PewDiePie just makes stupid videos. Angry Joe makes reviews. If Angry Joe was paid to review a game and then appeared on the box and he liked the game, his opinion has been tarnished because he's been paid. And I don't care what anybody says. Use any reviewer for an example. If you have been paid to review, to make a credible critical analysis of a game, if I turn up to Kiri and go, Kiri, I've made this game, Unit Loss Simulator. Here's $10,000. You can review it if you like.
I'd play it.
You play it, and you'd be like, oh wow, I really this bit's not as bad as I thought. You wouldn't be as critical as you normally would be because you've been bought out. Even though you might say to me, yeah, no, I'm totally not been bought out. I'll still give you my opinion, but you might be a little bit less. You might be a bit more lenient. You know, you do get. It is impossible for somebody that is. I must stress again, a reviewer. This is where the difference is in my mind. If you review a product and are paid to take a look at a product, but you can sell whatever you like as a result, you've been tarnished. You've been coerced into saying something a bit more positive. But PewDiePie, he's not. He's just an idiot. Well, he's not an idiot, obviously, but he plays games in an idiotic way. You know what I mean? For that type of market, and it obviously
he plays the idiot for entertainment. That's what his job is. And that, I mean, I think part of the thing where people talk about what the outrage is. Actually, one of the guys from Focus that we've spoken to, he got us Mordheim, for instance, to have a go on that. He made the comment that they prefer using, well thought out opinions from reviewers to sell their games. And the thing is, again, that's right as well. Like, we're not saying that. I'm not, like, for instance, I'm not saying, oh, well, now PewDiePie's on the box, we can just ignore all reviewers. That's not how it works. Again, it's a different market, it's a different target, it's a different audience. Like, for instance, if you're selling Mordheim, City of the Damned, I like that game. There's a couple of videos on the channel. You're not going to go and you're not going to try and sell it to PewDiePie's crowd. It's not that kind of game. It is not aimed at that audience. And so you would use the reviews. You would use the guy from IGN. But for something like Dying Light, which is just an open world sandbox punch zombies in the face game, you're going to use that target market because it's so easily, why would you not?
I kind of want to go off on a tangent a bit as well, because there'll be no doubt people listening to this thinking, well, it is a fine line to tread in terms of when you get things sent to you and like the types of relationships that you do have with PR people, especially with the ones on Twitter who do like to tweet at you and things like that. I had a discussion with a guy who was like, had watched the Styx Master of Shadows video Kiri did and was like, you've been paid for this, haven't you? And I'm like, no. Okay, well, you must have got a review document for this. I'm like, no. And I'm like, well, he keeps going on about orange amber or whatever the hell it is. Amber, amber, amber. It was like the specific name of the stealth mode. And I'm thinking, no, he hasn't. Yeah. Because we haven't... All we got was just we just got given a game code. That was it. Yeah. There's nothing else. So it's like, what's going on here? But even that shows you that there is a little bit of like distrust going around with some people who, because if somebody comes to the conclusion and thinks Kiri's been paid for that, to make that, because he keeps going on about a certain game mechanic and he's referring to it in the correct way, he's most likely doing it because he wants to fucking get it correct and not wrong. He's not being paid for it. Well, but for somebody to think he has, it's a very strange thing that you get on YouTube. It's like, if we make a video,
get the thing as well where,
well, hang on, if we make a video and we've been paid to make it legally, we have to state we've been paid to make it, so it'll be in the description. It will be on the video now. In fact, if we do any more going forward, it will say at the start of the video, because that's the FCC, whatever they are. It's their rules that you have to adhere by. You have to state in the video. It's no longer enough just to put it, do a Yogscast and put it fucking God knows how far in the description so nobody can see it. You have to have it in the description and in the video, and even in the title. You have to say sponsored in the title. So any more you see off Unit Lost will be clearly branded. And in fact, I'll go back and change some of the older ones to meet that. In fact, I think we don't do that much anyway. But it is a fine line, and there is a culture of. I don't think it's that big. I think a lot of the time you generally see people jumping on the bandwagon because it's like, oh, you've been paid for this. It's like a stupid thing to say. Grey Goo. This is a more recent example. Oh, you've been paid to play this, Sty. No, I haven't. No.
I mean,
We just
one
liked
the
Grey
thing
Goo.
that
They just sent us the key.
quite
But you know what?
quite often
Well, hang on, Kiri. It's because people were getting paid to play Grey Goo. So they just think, oh, right,
yeah,
you've made loads of videos. But no,
yeah.
watch the videos. You can just see that, it's crazy.
I mean, sometimes those things. Your example of my Sticks video, Sticks didn't do. I mean, it kind of did middling in terms of reviews. It wasn't praised, it wasn't hated on. It kind of fell middle of the road. I really liked the game, and I reflected that in the review of the game, how much I liked it. Now, I'm willing to accept that I was in kind of the minorities to people who liked it that much, but people also seem to kind of make the assumption that if you enjoy something and you've got it for free, then you getting it for free must have somehow tinted your opinion of it. But the thing is, Focus did not approach us for me to do that video. I emailed them and I said, hey, this looks good. I kind of like the idea of this. Can I have a key? And they said, here you go, have a key, whatever, make whatever you like. And in fact, there's a direct message Twitter conversation with the guy who got us the key. And I was like, okay, can I just clear up when the NDA is? When can I put this video out, etc., etc.? And it was, do what you like. It can be out by this time on this day. Just let me know when you've done the video. And the entire content of it was simply, here's the key. This is when the video can be out for. See you later. And that was the whole thing. And I liked the game. And yet people were going, oh, well, other people didn't like it as much as you, so you must have been paid. So, that's not how it works. That's not how opinions work. That's kind of...
H1Z1. Sony, I've got quite a good relationship with Sony. You wouldn't think I have, considering the recent videos, but I have, They helped me out with Landmark, got me access to that. I thought that was a fairly decent game at the time. And I am still looking forward to EverQuest Next, whatever shape that turns out to be. H1Z1, though, I get that sent to me, and you've seen the video I made. The game's pay to win. It isn't so much right now, but, I don't like that. I made a video.
And again...
They could easily... Well, I mean, nobody said I've been paid to make that video. Yet, hang on a minute. How many views has that video got? So I have been paid, because I've got paid through views, you could argue. But I haven't been paid. Yet if I made a video and it was like, wow, this is great... Well, it's very confusing to me. And
the same
let me
thing
just make
as well.
an unequivocal statement, sir. The vocabulary is getting extreme now, and this hotfix.
Good lord.
Getting a game sent to you for free does not tarnish you in the sense of getting paid, okay? Because it is just a tool. It is like, here is the game, you put the game on, you make the video. On YouTube, you cannot be a bullshitter. The internet is the biggest bullshit detector ever created, right?
It really is.
If I got a game, which,
and it's ridiculously sensitive as well. It's not like this could be. It's all or nothing. If someone gets a slight hint of it, you will be fucking drowned in accusations before you can even fucking breathe. You will be up to your neck in accusations. It is not a case of, I suspect, it's all or nothing with the internet. So, it's not. I see the thing as well. Do you really think it would be worth jeopardising something that we've been working on for like years for the sake of a one-off payment from someone? I mean, and the thing is as well,
you guys can trust
make
us.
That kind of argument.
Well, they know they can trust us. This is the thing, but there is a lot of channels out there which have kind of dubious ways of promoting themselves. I'm not going to name channels and say things, but there's been Christ, it's that horrendous snack. It's like a meat snack in a bag.
Oh,
Fridge Raider, something or other. Bernard Matthews, like horrible food, like chicken stick or something.
Yeah.
Like the worst thing ever. But there are channels promoting that, and these channels also promote a load of other stuff, and you can see that they are making as much money as possible off their YouTube channel because their fan bases are younger and don't understand, and that is shady. It's not illegal, but it's shady, and that does go on. I mean, I would like to think, and I hope you guys agree, that unit lost is very real. In fact, we're one of the most open channels you can probably find on YouTube. We go into detail quite a lot on things that go on behind the scenes. I mean, I've just went on a massive rant about PR stuff and the brand and stuff. We are clear about what's going on.
And the thing is as well that I think that's something that I think people don't appreciate as well. When we have, I guess what could be described as a standing relationship with publishers or studios, like we've got a good relationship with SOE, despite the fact that we've called them out over H1Z1, and we've made a couple of videos saying that the game is a fucking terrible cash-in. We've done the same with Ubisoft. I mean, if you look at Ubisoft, we get access to games from Ubisoft weeks before they come out. Now, when I played Assassin's Creed Unity, I enjoyed it, and the video I made reflected the fact I enjoyed it. When it turned out that I was kind of incredibly lucky in that I didn't suffer a lot of the issues that other people suffered when they were playing the game, do you know what we did? Did we defend it? Oh, no, wait. We fucking slammed them for it. And then we slammed them for it again when they made excuses. And then we slammed them when it turned out that they were fucking about with Far Cry 4. And yet they will still send us stuff. It's the same
we praised
with,
them for Child of Light and Valiant Hearts. Both, I thought, good games.
Yeah. You know, it's entirely possible to have a standing relationship with someone that you disagree with. I mean, again, going back to Styx and and Mordheim, the guy, you know, the contact that we have with Focus, I have openly argued with on Twitter. You know, it's not like we're sat there going, oh yes, all nice and chummy. If one of us says something that the other one disagrees with, we're just like, no, I think that's bullshit. And yet we will still have a working relationship because that's how it works. That's just, you cannot have, you know, a point where you are getting products from a company with which to make content, with which to produce critical content or let's play content, in fact, any sort of opinionated content whatsoever, and not form some kind of, you know, rapport with them or some kind of ability to talk to them as though they were human beings, which is essentially what it boils down to. There's a difference between being paid to do something and doing something because you want to do it. If we get paid for something, we will just say, we've been paid for this. And if we see a game and we want to play it, we will ask for a key, we will get given a key,
and you'll notice,
hopefully. If we don't get given a key, we'll fucking buy it, and then we'll tell you what we think about it, because that's what we do. That's the whole point.
You'll notice as well, if it is like paid for content, it would just be me and Kiri playing the game with minimal like critique, because we've been paid to play it. We can't really sit there and go, well, I like this and that, you know, that. You just play the game, basically.
Well, that's the thing. We've had when you look at World of Tanks is actually a good example. We did quite a few, we did loads of videos on World of Tanks before we had any sort of branding deal.
We did a World of Tanks video, I'm sure. That was a branding deal, where we were like ramming tanks into people. That is not what you do on World of Tanks.
We got given a branding deal for World of Tanks for, I think it was the 9 point something patch or something like that, where they introduced some new models for the higher tier tanks. We didn't have access to that, and we were just like, oh, let's just play the game. And we played the game for an hour, we cut it down into a video, and that was a paid for video. And the thing that made me laugh with that was the guy went, well, this has clearly been paid for. Yeah, because we fucking told you at the start of the video we've been paid for. Do you know why we got that branding deal? Because they looked at the channel and we'd been playing World of fucking Tanks. We'd had no contact with them before that because it's a free-to-play bloody game and we thought we'd try it and we enjoyed it, and then we were approached to do it. That's the other thing as well. There seems to be an assumption where it's like, oh, well, if you've been paid, then you must have been paid all the time. No, quite a lot of the time, it's a case of, hey, this channel is doing quite well for these videos. You know, they've done good things with our game. Let's see if we can work something out. Maybe we can get a sponsored video out.
If Grey Goo come up to me, I mean, I forget the company. Well, it's Petroglyph. I think it's Grey Box or something they're called. If they came up to me now and went, Sty, we would like you to make some more videos on our game. Here's some money. I mean, I'd be totally fine with that because I've already made critical videos on the game. I already like the fucking game. So if you're going to get paid, to, you know. Anyway, we've gone on a massive tangent here, and the last, really? I'll see if we can squeeze the last topic in. But
I've got the link back. That was about transparency and how YouTubers should behave in terms of games, and you don't get that from traditional media, which is part of the reason why YouTubers are far more popular and traditional media is dying out.
But only one of the reasons. Anyway, let's go. Right. Now, this is news that Joystick is likely to be shut down. Joystick, I follow them on Twitter, and they are annoying as shit because they retweet all of their goddamn rioters. I don't know what that's about. It's quite annoying. So AOL, okay, which, believe it or not, are still quite a massive company. I actually remember the time when I was younger and one of my mates got an AOL disc from Safeway, which was a supermarket, and told me he had the internet. And I went over to his house and all he had was the disc. He had no internet connection and he did not have the internet. It was pretty funny. And then I believe we played Commandos 2 on his PC anyway, because at the time we had internet, and it was like you had to pay per minute. It was BT Click or something. It's like 1 pence a minute. Oh, it was, no, it might have been 2 pence actually.
Was that the 28.8?
No, it was 56k. It was just.
Oh, we started out with 28. That was fucking slow. That was
Anyway.
bad. 56 was amazing.
So it's shit pings though for gaming. Like a ping in 200, man. What the hell? Anyway, yeah. So this thing is, it looks pretty likely that Joystick is about to be shut down. Now, there's been, well, I mean, you can see from this article, there's been layoffs at GameSpot, Polygon, Machinima have been hit quite large. Future, those are the, I think they own PC Gamer and stuff, but you can see they closed the official Nintendo magazine and computer
and
video
Escapist,
game.
I think Future own as well.
Oh,
I know Escapist have lost a few people as well.
IGN and Escapist are good examples for people who realise that they have a personality and were known on those sites for being a personality and branched off to their own thing.
Yeah.
So obviously that's Jim Sterling for Escapist and Greg Miller from IGN, who have, I would imagine now, are earning a shitload more money than they ever have done through things like Patreon and YouTube, because they are personalities. You know, they're not just faceless people who write God knows what, whether you agree or whatever would they say. It doesn't matter. They've got personalities, and YouTube, as everyone always says, is the cult of personality, and that's kind of the way things have gone, very personality driven. Websites like Joystick, you know, Rock Paper Shotgun is a great example, and my personal relationship with that website. I used to read that website all the goddamn time.
Yeah.
Who is it? Alec Mia and all those other people. Jesus Christ.
John Walker, Alec Meir, and Kieran Gillen, I think the other one was. And I would check that site all the time for updates, and I would read. You know, even if it was a game,
they were good articles. I'd
still read reviews. Yeah, they were really good articles. But you can, when you look at older articles from, like, say, maybe a year or two ago, and then kind of fast forward to now, the amount of interaction on RPS has dropped so significantly. It used to be hundreds of articles, hundreds of comments per article. Now it's like, if it breaks 50, I think, oh God, that's been linked somewhere or something. And it's just been a steady but slow decline, to the point where now all these sites are just either hemorrhaging people or potentially being closed down. I mean, Joystick, the rumours of Joystick closing was actually in a way kind of awkward, because Joystick reported on it. They actually did an article, and they're like, our readers have informed us that we may well be closing down. So we will ask our higher-ups for clarification and get back to you. And
I mean, it's obviously bad. It's bad. It's bad that people lose their jobs. It's never good. But I just wanted to show this. You might have heard like a little sound there, guys. That was a little bit of an advert playing on YouTube. But what Kiri was saying about the comments, I mean, look at this. This is a video Kiri made the other day about Ubisoft slamming them again. It's got like 5,000 views on it at the moment, 118 comments. You know, there is a definite shift, and you know, it's been happening for a while, and it is pretty entertaining to me when you do see like people going wild on Twitter, like slamming YouTubers for being idiots and all of this stuff, and you know, so and so on Twitch is a bloody cabbage. He doesn't know this, he doesn't know that. Eurogamer, Joystick, whatever, we're all reputable sites, blah blah blah, and it's like, but what they really don't understand, this goes back to what I just said, is it is all personality driven. It is, now we're living in an age where you can find something that you really, really agree with. So if you're similar to the way me and Kiri behave, you've got the similar sort of personality, you would come to our channel, find us through whatever means, and then you'd be like, oh, I like what's going on here, and you sort of stay. Whereas with the written word, it's obviously a bit more difficult to get the interaction going. But it is sad. It's sad, but it's also indicative of the what's changing. YouTube and Twitch are definitely the future, and they are now categorically bigger than all of these, you know, and by like orders of magnitude in terms of views and everything. I mean, you know what? You know, the only reason Polygon and IGN are probably kind of okay is because they cover movies. That's probably the only reason. And
the thing is as well, the amazing thing is that actually it's not even confined to just the written word sites. It's moving at such a rate. You may have seen the guys from Inside Gaming, which was a show on Machinima.
Yes, this is a good example, Kiri.
They're going as well. Now, if you look at Machinima's channel, Inside Gaming is keeping that shit alive, right? Machinima are dying, and they are dying fucking quickly as well. They had their big break with that. I've read an article about it a couple of days ago, but I couldn't find it again today. Their kind of big break came with, as the name suggests, the advent of machinima. You know, when it really took off as a thing. Red versus Blue caused a massive surge in views for machinima, and since then everything's changed, and machinima hasn't really caught up. They tried to keep that kind of TV aspect to stuff, but it doesn't work on the internet. It's not the same format. It's not what people are after. And the Inside Gaming guys are the most popular part of the machinima channel.
It's just the vlog thing, isn't it? Inside Gaming, like where they just give you news. I think actually they put one of our videos.
Yeah,
the H1Z1 was on it, I think.
Yes, yeah. It's Adam Kovic and a few other guys. But the thing is, they have got the personality thing, the same as Greg Miller from IGN. When Greg Miller left IGN, I was kind of thinking, now, the thing is, I know the name Greg Miller. He did video stuff as well as written stuff. And now, I mean, he's got to be earning a damn sight more than he ever was for IGN. If you look him up on Patreon, he's I mean, the what is it called? Funny, kind of funny. That's it. Isn't it?
Yeah, there's another one as well, isn't there?
That he's set up. Yeah, there's a kind of funny podcast and kind of funny games, and they must absolutely eclipse IGN now. Even though they left, they're bigger names, they're bigger personalities, they're just bigger than the thing that they were working for. And the same thing's happened to machinima, and even like the old guard of YouTubers, the kind of first wave, like the first big wave of networks of shows, even they're starting to kind of move away just because of the sheer rise of YouTubers and stuff.
I'm not happy with that as an example though, compared to like written websites and stuff. Because I mean, hell, if you look at Polaris, the network we're in, their channel's garbage really. Apart from Daily Bite, which is probably held up by Dodger, the rest of it is not very good at all. Like you said, Kiri, it suffers from Let's Try and Be a Television Show, which is really weird. But that's not how they make their money. They're just a network, so they always make loads of money off everybody else in their network. So it kind of really doesn't matter. Like Machinima is always going to make a ton of cash because it's Machinima and it's got like God knows how many channels. It's the biggest YouTube network, so. Oh no, maybe Maker isn't it? I'm not sure, but it's one of the biggest. So, but yeah, written websites and that style of, like I kind of feel sorry for it, but I also it reminds me of the scene in. This is really going to be really fucking weird. I said to you on Skype, didn't I? It reminds me of Titanic. There's a scene in the Titanic film where the old people are sitting there and they're going on about however they make their money. And I think Rose, is Rose the woman? I don't know. They ask her how she made her money and she says, and they're like, oh, new money, oh, like you're dirty. But it's kind of like that if you think about it, because new media, which is essentially what we are, it's very fluid, right? It's very and it's very raw, and it's not over the top in production value, but it's very if let's say HOTFIX doesn't work as a format, we can change tomorrow. It's fine. IGN couldn't. If IGN have committed to whatever format they've got, they're just going to keep doing it because it's much harder for a big corporation to change quick. But YouTube can change really fast. These smaller outfits. I mean, all you're essentially seeing is this shift from these big companies. It's kind of the same with games as well. Like you've seen kind of a bit of a shift from these massive AAA studios to more of like the independent developers showing up, and that's kind of what's happened with gaming media as a whole. And it's definitely become more entertainment centric instead of just sort of speaking about upcoming releases and people giving their opinions on stuff.
Well, that's the other thing as well, is due to the personal nature of YouTube, and it is a lot more personal than Rock Paper Shotgun or IGN or Joystick or any of those sites. Due to the personal nature of it as well, there's more diversity in the content, in that when we talk about personal experiences relating to video games, in whatever context that is, be it in a review, in a let's play, or in just like hotfix, or like that video I made last week, whenever it was, about depression in gaming, that's a good example. That's a lot more, I guess, kind of
personable,
up close and personal, and it's not just up close and personal stuff. It's not just stuff that is close to the person, but also the way it's delivered is different as well. Like, words cannot be made to be as, I guess, as easy to to gain emotion from as just seeing someone on a camera.
Yeah.
Like, if you're getting passionate on a camera, if you're really laying it out, like we've been doing through this entire hotfix, it's a lot easier to pick up on that. It's a lot more, I guess it's a lot more visceral. It's a lot more easy to see and easy to digest. Whereas to read that would require, I'm not going to say more effort, but you don't get the same experience. The written sites don't provide the same experience. YouTube, you get the same stuff. You get the same reviews. You get the same first impressions. You get news videos. You get opinions. But it's all delivered in a way that is, frankly, a lot more natural to people anyway. Because talking face-to-face is a damn sight more natural than typing something out, proofreading it, editing it, and then sticking it on something, and then going, here you go, read that. It's just a lot more of a personal experience. By the way, I think one of the best things about online content is that it can be that much more, I guess, raw and unedited. Like, sometimes we'll edit videos, we'll edit stuff out, but you're still getting the... Like, if we play for 2 hours, and out of that 2 hours of play comes a 10-minute video, it's like you're getting the most raw, interesting, funny, exciting things out of that, which you don't quite get. I mean, you might get a nice feeling from reading a good review, but you're not going to get the same reaction from reading a good review as you do from watching one. At least that's how it's been for me.
Well, yeah,
I think that's probably a lot of what it's down to. It's just the fact that it's...
The thing that stopped me from reading traditional websites was, this is like 4 years ago, it's got to be. I realised you could search for gameplay clips on YouTube, and no longer did I have to read an article telling me about a game. I could just watch the game and make my own mind up on it, and that was it. Now we've evolved to the point where the gameplay is shown to you, but then somebody is actually giving their opinion along with the video, and you can either agree or disagree with the person. And if you agree with the person, you generally think, well, okay, I like the way this person thinks, I'll sub to the channel, and then the next video comes out, and that's the way this thing works now. It has changed, and you look at companies like Nintendo, they don't understand that. They really don't understand that. Companies like websites like Joystick and all the older websites, they are dying a very slow death. And when we lose websites like CVG, which that's computer and video games, that's been there for years. It's what it's like. You know what this is like.
PC Zone as well. When PC Zone died,
that's what I was about to say. Piss off, man! This is my fucking thing. I was going to say this. This is very similar to when websites replaced magazines. Because there were loads of magazines, like you said, PC Zone. I used to buy that. There was, in fact, that was probably the better one. You can still get PC Gamer now, but that's kind of supported through its website as well. There was a load of websites. Is PC format still a thing? I don't know, but there was a load of these. But then your Rock Paper Shotguns, your Eurogamers, and all this come along. People can get the news instantly on the internet, so no longer do they need a magazine. And think about the target market as well, because you could say, well, newspapers and news, the BBC, that's on the internet, but people still buy newspapers. The thing is, the target market for gamers are going to be on the internet anyway. So why would they go and buy a paper or something to read about it? They're just going to load up the website and check it out. But now we're going from that to this video medium, and even the video medium's evolving into the live stream medium. So it's all live.
Yeah. I have to admit, something else that I've only just realised, I would absolutely love to see if there was some sort of research or some sort of correlation between the rise in internet speed and the rise in things like first digital content in terms of the written word websites, and then YouTube. Because I remember, this is just something that I was talking to my wife about the other day. We went down to London for the day. Now, I remember when I was going to see her when she was at university, and this was like 10 years ago, I would go to the station, I'd pick up a PC magazine from the station, and I would read it on the way to her place in London, and then I would pick up something else on the way back, or I'd buy a book or something on the way back. And then a few years later, I would get my phone out, and I would be reading something on the net on my phone, because for the first time when I got an iPhone, I had the ability to have the internet on my phone. So I would be reading stuff on that instead of buying a magazine. And it would probably be like video game related stuff. It would be websites like RPS and stuff. And then on Sunday, I realised I brought my iPad. And I brought my iPad because I linked it to my phone and I watched YouTube videos on the train. And over the course of 10 years, I went from buying a magazine to reading the contents of a magazine, but online, to watching something instead of reading it. But it was still the same content.
Yeah.
It was just delivered in different ways every time. And that, I mean, that just, I've only just remembered that, but it's kind of like, in a way, it's a condensed version of what's happened. You know, you went from getting the magazines, then you went to reading the stuff that would be
Timeline
in
of
the magazine,
evolution.
but
Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and
a good
now
example.
you don't do that. You watch videos instead, which is what I do.
What you do leading on from that, you know, people have started to watch live streams. You know, often, as I say, I mean, like I like 40K models. I enjoy painting them and stuff. If I sit there and I'm painting them, I'll have a battle report open and I'll be watching that, you know, or I might be watching somebody stream, or I might be doing something that it's sort of changing. You know, that it's no longer, is it just like, it's almost like as if it's replaced having the telly on in the room, that type of thing, especially live streaming.
Yeah.
You know, like before, if you were like, you know, if you were sitting down doing nothing, or you was work, like, again, say, I don't know, if you was putting together models, doing whatever you wanted to do, knitting. Let's say you were knitting, okay, doing a nice bit of cross stitch. Is that knitting? I don't know, but you're doing something. You'd have the telly on and just listen to it in the background. But now you'd have a stream on. You know, things do evolve, but. Yeah, these old sites, they're not old. They're still relevant kind of now, because they still do report on some news and stuff like that. They are not long for this world, I'm afraid, because everything's changed to YouTube. And like, you know, even with news-related stuff, you can get that off YouTube. There's a ton of people like Force Strategy and loads of other people. They do gaming, like little 5-minute burst of game news. So if you want it, bang, you've got it straight away. Hell, places like Reddit are starting to completely destroy places like Rock Paper Shotgun and stuff like that, because it's all user generated content, so anybody can post. NeoGAF as well for gaming, massive forum. You know, a lot of stuff. In fact, you see places like IGN, God knows what, reporting on things that have been fucking posted on Reddit and NeoGAF. So they're not even first port of call anymore. And even for new games as well, YouTubers are getting the games faster as well, so they can. Because it used to be, I remember, you couldn't get a game. IGN would have the game before you. It still does happen sometimes now. They would have the game before you, and then you could not compete. But now you can. And in fact, the YouTubers
be written reviews
up
before YouTube even got hold of it. And now it's gone so far the other way that there are people with, you know, playing the game months before release at a convention or something with footage on YouTube before IGN have even touched it. And that's just the way it's gone. And the thing is, it's interesting, but as you say, the sad side to progress is the fact a lot of these people are not going to be in with a job,
no,
and relatively soon, because the sites cannot sustain themselves against what is frankly an absolute juggernaut now in terms of YouTube and streaming. You know, they cannot compete with that.
You remember when we first were like, we want to do something gaming related, and we actually did have a blog, didn't we? Remember, Unit Loss was like a blog, and we were like, oh, I think we quite like the video aspect of it. Let's give that a go. And it's just, it's unfortunate, you know, things move on, and if you don't move on, you get left behind, and you know, it's sad people lose their jobs and stuff like that, but it's just the way the world is, I'm afraid. Anyway, Mr. Kirioff, I'm getting a massive sore throat. I need to go away.
It's been a long one.
It is. It's been like an hour and 23 minutes, according to my thing. It's not that long.
Lord.
It feels like it's been a good hotfix, though. And I feel Lady Bingo has added to the conversation drastically.
And she so often does.
She's just staring at me, not moving, almost as if it's a picture.
I said to you before, I'm massively impressed with that photo.
It is.
It's so
I know
crisp.
I thought it was the fancy camera. What is it? DSLR, the fancy camera you've got.
No, that's downstairs because I haven't charged the battery. All it is I just used the camera on that, which is my Nexus 5. But I turned HDR on because I've never turned it on before, and I thought, well, it might make a difference. Turns out, really does make a difference.
I was going to say I turned that on my phone, but my phone is just a Moto G, and it's worth about 70 quid, so I doubt it's going to perform. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that has been HOTFIX. Comment below as ever, and hopefully you enjoyed that. And as I say, next week we'll most likely get a guest on. Some unfortunate problems with getting the guest on this week, but we'll see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've been Stylish from Kirioff, and that's been Lady Bingo, and we'll catch you next time, people. Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.